All right, let's see what we got here. Where's my guitar? Hey there. It's pretty bright in here, but it's going to be what it's going to be. Let me tune up and adjust my camera. I gotta be careful. I don't want to refocus it. That's probably too much. Nah, that's not bad. That's good. I can kind of move to fit in the frame. All right. Well, I'm tuned down half step. Hilarious. Am I? Yep. Hey, Mamba, what's going on? Bob, good to see you. I was tuned down a half step for a writing session last week, so. Six nine, what's going on? That's a Jeff Beck tune, I think. Is that the Jan Hammer and Jeff Beck record? I don't know. Martian Murray, what's going on? John Wise in the house. Everybody saying hi to each other. We'll get going here in a second. We're changing subject matter. I'll talk about my school thing that I may do. The capital outlay is getting larger in some ways. Maybe not too bad. I'm gonna let's see. I can turn off this light back here. Oops. There we go. Do that. This one, that's better. It's amazing how dark most people shoot YouTube videos in rooms. You know how dark they make the rooms. I usually don't do that, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? It looks better when it's dark. The cameras see the light, not having I guess the aperture closes when there's a lot of light, and so when there's maybe less detail, and then when there's less light, it can kind of open up. Now, to a point, if it gets too little of light, then it can't open up very much. I don't know. I actually, Saturday morning, I was shooting a video with a videographer for a game company. They always liked to get footage of me playing the session, and it's like, I'm not gonna. I tried doing that with my own cameras and sending it to them, and they said it wasn't good enough, and then they made me go into a studio and pretend to play the song, a thing that wasn't even playable on balalaika. I think I talked about this. They sent me this balalaika music. They basically just copy and pasted the viola section, and it was like, it was like, the balalaika has two strings. Technically, it's three strings, but two of them are the same note, and not meant to be played like that. It's kind of a rhythm instrument. It's like, kind of like that thing. You know, it kind of does that thing well, but it doesn't do the single note stuff. So I actually got permission with the composer to play it on. I think I ended up playing it on a tenor ukulele because it had the nylon string vibe and it sounded like a balalaika, kind of. And then I did the rhythm playing on the balalaika, and it fortunately was like D minor. It was pretty simple chords: D minor, C, B flat, A, kind of thing. But they wanted to have me play, so I showed up at the session with a balalaika and pretended to play the lines on the balalaika for the camera. It's hilarious. People are gonna go, "That's not what he's playing," you know. It's just funny. But this was lute. So I guess this company calls me for all the weird instruments, and so I had to play lute couple weeks ago, and then the guy that I worked with in that studio where I had to drive and go do a session, and I'm charging for this, but it's like just kind of a pain. I had him come here instead, and then we ended up talking about filming because he had a Red 6K camera. And we were talking about how can I do what I want to do with the school thing. So, and one of my friends suggested, you know, oh, you should have 3 cameras, one on each hand and then a wide shot on you. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do. You know how hard that is to do by yourself. And I'd rather be capable of filming all of this by myself. So I don't have to worry about making mistakes. I'm more likely to make mistakes if I'm worried about wasting someone's time, if you know what I mean. You know, my thinking was to sit in a studio, sit here or somewhere, and do like 10 lessons in one sitting, and then the person would edit those videos and stuff. Well, he said if I had a 4K camera, and he doesn't know if my camera doesn't have 4K capability, but 4K is basically 4 times 1080p, right? So 1080p is fine. So if you just look at this image you're seeing right now, or at least the video image that you're seeing right now, we got all this black space over here that I'm going to use for text. But if you divide it up in 4 quadrants, so like this hand or this hand, if I had a 4K camera, then I can chop it up into 4 pieces and show this hand. The quality is going to be pretty good. So that's kind of the thinking. He just said you need to have a very good lens, and so he gave me a lens suggestion for Canon and a Canon camera because that's what I pretty much use. And then he also uses Final Cut, so I have the right software. So hey Bruce, what's going on? Good to see you. And Dennis, good to see you. Guten Morgen, Guten Tag, Guten Abend. Is that right? Guten Abend? That sounds German mixed with French. We're going to talk about grooving. I'm going to try to keep it pretty simple. And what's Guten Abend? What did I say? Dennis, did I just cuss? Did I say something really wrong in Holland? Hey, Quail Studios, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey, Brad, what's going on, man? Gotta tune some more. Hold on, I'm still out of tune. I was in E flat standard last week, so the guitar's been sitting in it all weekend. So we're going to talk about groove. We're not going to so much do different grooves. We're going to kind of just talk about pocket, which is pocket's a musician's term for where the groove is sitting. Someone explained it to me kind of like your teeth. You can have You can sit right on the edge of the tooth. You can go behind the tooth. You can go in front of the tooth. I don't know if that's a very good example, but you can lay back. I've heard drummer, not this bad. I'm going to exaggerate, but like. Sorry. Where they lay back the snare, like it's way back there. Or you can rush, I don't even know if we can do it. And though all of those different placements, though, you can be a little behind, a little ahead, a lot behind, medium, there's milliseconds of variation. You can create different emotions. I feel like, like metal bands, death metal, speed metal bands tend to be on top of that beat. It's already fast, and it's like they're wanting to go faster. It has that feel. You don't really, but funk tends to kind of be like this. And I remember listening to, I forget what record it was on, maybe on Under the Cherry Moon. There was a Prince track that was like a gospel track, and Prince probably played the drums on it, or programmed the drums. It may have been programmed drums, but man, they were like, the snare was like a 30-second note behind or something. I mean, it was really. I can program some so we can hear what that would sound like, but we're gonna talk about eighth note swings, 16th notes, and 16th note swings. We're gonna talk about dotted eighth notes. So we're gonna hit on a lot of the rhythm variations. And hey, Many Vibes, Joseph, good to see you. I never did find out. Gute Affont. Gute Affont. Okay. I'm still never going to get that. Unless I live there. Unless I move in with you. Maybe a question. In the context of what you'll talk about today, what do you mean by grooving? Grooving is your feel. A groove can be a couple things. A groove can be your feel. Like, and we're going to talk about that. So that's kind of going to get answered in the long form. Or a groove could also be you could say, play the hip hop groove, and it's like, I kind of call that the hip hop, and I'm trying to imitate a drummer there. I'm imitating a drummer ghosting on the snare. Boom, pap, 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 boom, pap, 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 where the snare goes. And that's called ghosting. When the drummer will hit, and so drummers can ghost on every note, but basically a solid 2 and 4. 1, pa, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get those big solid 2 and 4 on the snare, but in between might hit the little quiet things on the 16th notes, the E and the Us of the beats. I can program one so you can kind of hear it. Now, the classic, let me see. I think I got a beat right here. What's this one? No, that's a triplet. I don't want to do a triplet. Let me just go. Get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of this, and rid of this, and then put it in straight eighths for now. Oops, wrong one. I put it on straight quarters. Okay, straight eighths. There we go. So here's straight. Okay, I may have to roll the bottom end off a little bit, right? Are we okay? Are we distorting? You can hear that, right? Hey Sadie, what's going on? Okay, so if I put 2 16th notes, so I'm putting, so the snare right now, 1, 2. Okay, that's about as basic of a groove as you can play. It's super straight. Those are straight eighth notes. We're going to talk about swinging eighth notes, but those are super straight. But if I add a snare hit on the 2E and of 2 and the 3E, the E of 3, it sounds like this. And this is a groove you've heard a lot. Now, right now, I have those snares. Let me get rid of the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, that's kind of ghosting. I would say it's less ghosting. Put the hi-hat. Because the snare, those 16th note snares are the same level. So normally a drummer would kind of pull back on it. So I'm going to turn down the velocity on it, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, I'm going to have to get rid of the hi-hat again. Hear that? Hard, 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 soft, soft, hard. And that's pretty typical, and that's called ghosting. And I can do ghosting like some drummers will ghost like a lot, like hear that? I got the kick in there. Let me mute the kick. Almost hard to tell where one is. Get the hi-hat back in there. So the ghosting is that's what ghosting is. Okay, that wasn't part of the lesson, but you learned something new. And you can ghost on toms, you ghost on the kick, you can ghost on the hi-hat. I mean, you can ghost on any drum. But the most common thing to ghost on is probably the snare drum. A lot of drummers do it kind of without even thinking. They just kind of do it. I do it too. When I, like for example, on ETA, was it? You know, like I'm hitting these muted notes. So I'm kind of going to the E minor thing on one, but right before I'm hitting that, I'm going. And it's intentional. I know I'm doing it. I'm just trying to kind of add a little bit more human special sauce to it. You can't really hear it. It's pretty subtle, but yeah, I'm doing kind of ghosting. Usually it's a muted note. And so, you know, I'll pick a string that I can mute while I'm doing it. You just kind of, sometimes you just kind of do it by accident. Probably the first time you do it by accident. I always say the coolest stuff I do is accidental. I didn't do it intentionally. Yeah, everybody loves ghost notes. So, what I want to talk about was the different grooves in the sense of grooving, in the sense of feel, and having a feel, and kind of important, stick to it. So we're going to talk about. Here's our straight eighth note right here. See if that's. Is that too fast? I can slow it down. I could go to 60 BPM. Right now I'm at 80 BPM. Let me slow it down to 60 and see if that's too slow. It might be hard to groove that slow. Yeah, that feels a little slow to me. Let's go to 75. Just a little bit slower than we're doing. So all I'm doing is kind of the classic rock and roll E. So I'm just playing. You can literally do this with one finger if you want. And I'm hitting each of these notes twice. So I'm hitting E, and then the second fret of the 5th string, which is a B note. Then I'm going to go up to C sharp, which is at the 4th fret. I'm going to go to D. And I'm going to go back to C sharp. If you have never done that before, you might have done this. Okay. So what I want you to try to do is try to play as square as possible. All downstrokes. And I'm kind of laying my fingers on the other strings, the dead note. Sesame Street, yeah. Is that right? That's actually really, you could create a chord melody. Let's see. Melody in there. But anyway, I'm trying to do as square as possible, okay? Now, if we were to make those 8th notes triplets, all right? So in other words, not 3, but, well, let me show you what 3 sounds like. Hold on, I think I've got it right here. Let me look at this. No. Where is it? Okay, here's the triplet. Oh, here it is right here. Check this out. Okay, so play this. And you'll notice I'm playing the 5th, the 6th, and the flat 7th, not the sharp 6th. The sharp 6 will be the flat 7th, same thing. Okay, so yeah, it's basically implying a kind of an E7 chord. It's a blues trick. It's been around forever. Bach probably did it first. So when you do a shuffle feel or a shuffle groove, you're playing triplets. Okay, that would be the extreme of swinging. Okay, so what we're doing is, like, if we calculate the math here, okay, if this is 0 and this is, the second one is 50, okay, so 0, 50, 0, 50, 0, 50, 0, 50. 051 would be a little bit later, you wouldn't notice it, okay? The difference between 51 and 50 would be subtle. But if you get up to 67, which would be kind of 2/3, it's going to like that. If you go to 75, you're going to be on the 16th note, so it will be a different feel. I'm going to show you that one as well. But if we did 3 triplets, so if you listen to this groove, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. And you can do that, okay? And you could play. In fact, you can try that right now. So 3 of each of those notes. In sheet music, maybe. Sometimes it's just notated by a note head that is an X. So instead of there being a note head there, it will be an X. So yeah, an X on top of it, I'm not even sure what that would mean on top of a note. But if the note head is replaced with an X, that's what I would use for a scratch. Like if I wanted this groove. I would have 2 Ds and then 2 more 16th note Ds, but with X's for heads, and then go and so on and so forth. I actually have more ghost notes than I have actual notes, if that helps. Okay, yeah, X on the stem. That's usually how I do it. That's usually how I see it. Yeah, I would call that a ghost note, although in drum, I don't really read a lot of drum notation, and most drummers don't really ever read drum notation. I'm not sure how you would write that in drum notation, but on guitar, yeah, you would. If I, like, one, the and kind of thing. You might see 2 16th note. And they might put the note on the string or near like a pitch that they think that they're on, even though you can't hear a pitch, but you can hear that like this is on the bottom string and this is on the 3rd string. So you might make that kind of notation on there rather than just 2 random, 16th note X's. Ghost notes are often notated that way. So if we played this Sesame Street riff. With a triplet. And it's technically a shuffle. Like a Texas shuffle. It's technically as even and straight as this. Let's see if I have it here. That's 16th notes. So I don't have, let me duplicate this. I can't really keep track of all these, but let me get rid of the 16th notes here, just 8th notes. The that triplet feel technically is pretty. I don't want to say square. It's not square. It's a shuffle, Texas shuffle. You could tell a Chicago shuffle, just a shuffle. So that's a square. But if we were to do that with a triplet feel, okay, now let me, but what I'm going to do is instead of having 12 hi-hat hits, I'm just going to take the 8th that we have here, okay, and I'm going to take that second hit, the hit that's on the and, 1 and I'm going to move it over. So we're going to get, and right now I'm going to move it over to be a pure shuffle. It's technically a triplet. All right, so let me do that. Click on hi-hat. There it is. Quantize, and I'm going to put it at, is that right? Yep. Okay, so, whoops, that was weird. That one went to the wrong place. Up. Where are you going, little buddy? All right, there you go. Now remember, we had, was it this? I can't keep track. There's all 3 of them. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet. Okay. It's all 3 triplets on every beat. Okay, but really, that would be one feel. Here's another. So what I did was I got rid of the middle. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, instead of that, Okay, we can just do it. Let's just do it with a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We're just going to do 1 and 3. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Okay, so let's do a bar of 12, 16, or 12 triplets, and then let's do a bar of swung triplets, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So technically those are kind of the same feel. At least they're both kind of imply that shuffle, okay? So now we can play, before we went straight, right? That sounds like Sesame Street. Almost intentional, right? A very, very square, very straight. And there I put in a 16th note that was swung. We'll talk about that. Okay, but then we did the triplet. And you could write that out. There's a couple ways you could write that out. John, you're probably wondering. You could write it out in 12/8. Okay, that could be 12/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Or 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whatever. Or 11. I guess that would be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2. I don't know. There's a joke in there. I can't remember it quite. But we can get rid of that middle 16th or middle triplet, and you end up with this. Go down to A. Back to E. B's harder. And that's also, you know, it's fine. It's not bad. It's a pure triplet. I would call that a 12/8 feel. But the other way you can notate it is you can just say 4/4. You could literally write it out as eighth notes, regular old eighth notes. But in the corner of the chart, in the very top, you go eighth note swung, or you can write a little thing that has 2 eighth notes equals 2 triplet eighth notes with a rest in the middle. I've seen those before, those kind of notations before. So, yeah, you can. See, there's a swing to that. We're going to talk about the swing, okay? Because if I play that straight, it would sound like you can't hide. It wouldn't. Yeah, it feels better if you put a little swing to it, and we're going to get to there, okay? So remember the 50, 0, 50? Kind of how things get quantized on a computer is that you've got like 50 is straight, and 67 is swung, and 75 is 16th notes. 16th notes. Let's listen to that. Let's see. Is this 16th note? Let me listen. Yeah, that's pure 8th notes. Is this 16th? Yeah. So this is 16th notes. Now, if I took, let's see if this is what I'm, yeah. If I went to 75, Okay, so if you think about a beat being 100, that's where I'm getting the 0, the 50, the 75. 25 would be a 16th note, 50 is an 8th note, 75 is a 16th note, and then 100 would be just the beginning of the next note, okay? Does that make sense? And that's where we can get into those nuances, okay? We can go, okay, well, so instead of 50, let's see what 60 sounds like. 60 won't be quite as swung as 67, but it'll still have a feel. And all of those are no worries, many vibes. Classic Sig, what's going on? This is insane for free. Yes, for free. Yeah, I mean, if you were to come over and take a lesson, which I don't do private lessons anymore, it would be $150 an hour. That's pretty much what I charge when I do the few times I do lessons. I'll work with actors and sometimes singing artists, and helping them with something, or a lot of times it's an actor has to learn to look like they're playing. Every actor I've ever worked with I was hired to help them look like they can play, because they actually got good enough to actually play on camera, so they didn't have to mix things, which is cool. Yeah, I'm kind of talking about theory. I apologize. I hate to bring that into it, but it's such a great way to explain some things. And trust me, music theory, if you took music theory class, they wouldn't be talking about a 52 groove or a 57 groove, or they would never bring that up. This is something that's more in programming, and then once you program it, then you go, oh, I know that. Okay, I get that feel. And now, to be honest, I have. Let's see. Okay, so that's 16th notes. Now, I find it's easier to play straight with all downstrokes. Okay, one other thing. And it's harder to play straight when you're using upstrokes. Something about that, the hand when you're going down and up, and hitting the strings on the upstroke, it tends to just naturally kind of move off of that pure perfect either 50 quarter note, 58th note, or a 25 16th note. It tends to move off of that and creates kind of a swing effect, okay? So where is I've got too many of these beats now. I'm losing track of where. Okay, there's the triplet. Bump, 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 bump. Okay, and then here it is. Oh, that's 8th note. I'm so confused. Oh, that's the ghosting thing. Golly, can I find this one? I got too many. Okay, so there's the shuffle feel. That's a triplet feel where I just eliminated the middle of the triplets. So it's I'm going. And don't think it's limited to that kind of playing, but it's. You can kind of do it, with chords. You can do it. It doesn't, it doesn't have. It can be. I mean, when you play jazz melodies, let's see. I'm trying to think of a jazz melody that I can play on them. That's a finger memory one. Donna Lee by Charlie Parker. that's a guitar store riff. You show up at a guitar store and play that, and then immediately they go, "How may I help you? Would you like to see our most expensive guitar?" Well, maybe not. You're playing jazz, and they go, "Here, come check out this $3 guitar." Anyway, all right. So, but we go back to, is this the 8th note one? Like I said, I got it. Okay. That's the triplet. Oh no, that's actually, let's see. What is this? Okay, so this is, yeah, this is the triplet. Bump, 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 bump. Yeah, that's the pure triplet, right? But I can take that and, so, okay, so I'm going to go straight again here. Here's straight. Oh, shoot, it went away. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, that was the 16th note. That's what was throwing me off. Okay. Yeah, that was the 16th note one. Let me go find the 8th note one. Is this it? There's the triplet. 16th note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so there's, okay, that's the 16th note. Sorry, we're gonna get to that in a second. Okay, this is the one with the ghost notes. I'm gonna get rid of the ghost notes, even though they're really cool. I can put them back in a second. Okay, so here's a straight 8th note, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay. Now in Logic, I can highlight the hi-hat, which is the only thing that's playing 8th notes. The kick is playing a quarter note, or it's on 1 and 3, and the snare is on 2 and 4. I kept it super duper simple. Okay, so the hi-hat is on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I've got this pull down thing, and it's like I can quantize to the bar, half note, quarter note, 8th note, 16th note, 32nd note, 64th note. Then I can quantize to a half note triplet, which is 3 beats per bar, a quarter note triplet, which is 6 beats per bar, an 8th note triplet, which would be 12 notes per bar, which is the one we've been doing, 12/8. So that's 12 8th notes per bar. So you would use that one. And I'm not. This is not a lesson in Logic. We're recording digital audio workstations or whatever. I'm just telling you what I'm looking at right now. In fact, I can do a screenshot of this so you can see it. All right, so, oops, that's not going to work. I forgot. It disappears. Desktop. There it is. No, stop it. Just that. Okay. So you can see here, we've got, that's straight 8th note, 16th note, all the triplets. So all of these, you can even do 128 triplets. Crazy. Which, when you're doing programming and things like that. But here's the 16th swing. We're going to get that in a second, but we're going to talk about the 8th note swing there. They designate them as A, B, C, D, E, F. Each one is more extreme than the last. So I'm going to put this on, okay, so here it is, straight. Bump, bump, bump. You can even play drums with me. Okay. But if I take that hi-hat, and now here's the swing A. Very little difference. I don't really notice it. Let's go to B. Hear that? Okay, that's a little bit of a different feel. Try to match that. So the second, the second eighth note is closer to the next. It's moved a little closer to the next downbeat. So instead of, so if I go back to there, right? Oh, sorry. Okay. That's a straight. Here's the swing B. It's a little bit, it's subtle. I'll give you that. If you don't notice it, it's because it's subtle. Here's C. Now you should be able to hear it. So bass player might. Subtle. Okay, so that's C, right? Okay, here's D. Now we're pretty much in triplet territory, if you ask me. And then F is, I would never use F. That's a weird feel. Okay, and keep in mind this, like C is kind of halfway between straight eighth and swung, I would say. I like that, and that's kind of, if I'm going to swing something, I usually, if it's a 16th note, I go to 16th note C up here that you see right there. You see the swing, the 5 tuplet, yeah, 5/4, 5/8. Yeah, I'm not doing any of those. We're not going to talk about those yet. Hey, Brian, well, how many people do we have? I haven't even looked. Oh, we fell off. We're up to 27, and then all of a sudden we're down to 16. I'm like, when did I start talking? I put the guitar down. That's the problem. People don't see me with a guitar in my hands, and they're like, what's he talking about? Politics? That's what you all, I don't know what you sound like, but to me, that's what you sound like. What's Tom doing? See, that, you know, that's totally David Letterman. I got that from him. So Tom put his guitar down, so he's not teaching anymore? That's how you all sound. It's like Gary Book sounds to me. When I imagine Gary Book saying, I just remembered it's Tom Monday, it's like, oh, I just remembered it's Tom Monday. That's pretty much how you sound to me. Hey, Flat Book Apprentice. Or Flat Pick Apprentice, not Flat Book. Okay. And swinging is definitely you definitely swing in bluegrass. Now, the I want to play a pattern. Okay, so let's just work on this pattern a little bit, just a little bit here. If you just want to hit the bottom note of the power chord. Now here's a question, or here's a thing. When do you use this pattern? Or this feel? Well, a lot of times if you're by yourself, you know, it's good to kind of change things up. So if you're playing a coffee house thing and you're accompanying yourself or whatever, it's good to be able to kind of play these different feels so that you're not doing the same stupid strumming groove for every song. Okay, like I've always said, the most important thing you can learn on acoustic guitar is learn a lot of grooves so that your playing doesn't sound boring. On electric guitar, the most important thing you can work on is learning the fretboard. I mean, you should do that on both. You should do everything, all the things. But if you're asking me, what's the most important thing? What should I work on? It's like, well, start here. And this, again, assuming you're already playing. Now, so the drummer might start this out. He might go 1, 2, ba, da, ba, ba, boom, 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 ba, boom, boom, ba, boom, boom. listen to this kick. Boom, 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 pa, boom, pa, boom, boom. Like, I didn't put a kick on the eighth note in here. So, oh, this is funny too. Let me put a straight eighth note kick against that hi-hat. You can hear it. Now, there are drummers that do this. I don't know how they do it, to be honest, but let's see. I might put a kick here and here. It just sounds, it's like a flam. Okay, so now I'm going to quantize the kick. So that's a swung kick. Boom, boom. Again, eighth note feel. Let me mute this hi-hat. There we go. Boom, boom. Very solid. Very rigid. So the drummer might signal to you, okay, we're going to be swinging this song by his hi-hat. I mean, by his kick drum, and then this hi-hat should match. Okay. And that would be on the list over here. I'm doing a swing C, eighth note swing C. So it's kind of, I feel like it's halfway between an eighth note and a triplet eighth note. I can't think of any songs offhand. I'm really bad at that. Like, which songs? But I find that, well, for one thing, like your Lion Eyes wouldn't do that. So you wouldn't do that swing. I mean, obviously the tempo's too slow, but yeah, flat pick, yeah. F is a really hard swing. F is almost a 16th note, a dotted 8th, 16th note kind of vibe. F is crazy. Like if I put F in right on this, I have to highlight everything so the kick is there too. So again, we kind of ran through these. Here's F. Yeah, and then A, like flat pick said, it's pretty subtle. And there's definitely swing in bluegrass. I don't know where it would fall, but you definitely, when you're playing line, and again, it's a very subtle swing that kind of happens naturally when you're alternating picking. It's almost impossible to play perfect eighth notes with an upstroke. It just automatically is. Alito Shuffle is a good song. The Boss Gag. What's it? Listen, I'm playing quarter notes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the ghosting I'm doing is on a swung eighth note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, boom. Okay, so let's talk about 16th note swings, and I'm gonna give you a little exercise here. I got to create it first. Oh, this was, what did we leave off on this? Yeah, that's swing C to me just sounds the most natural. Okay, so we're going to go back to this. This is the very original here. Okay. And I want you to play we're going to play 6 eighth notes and then 4 16th notes. And then I'm going to make it super square, okay? So it's 2 and 3 and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and a 1 2. And we're going to do up downs on this, so it's down, 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 down. Hey, Catherine. Exactly. Yeah, and some programs will have, like I said, the 50 thing. You know, it's like 50 is straight, 51, 2, 3, 4. You're getting into 55. You're starting to feel it. 56, 57. You get to 67 and it's a pure triplet, and you get to 75 and it's a pure 60. You can kind of think, and so this, you know, the human thing is even more variations on it. Okay, so what we have is straight, but check this out. If I'm going to play this Sesame Street, but sometimes I might put in some upstrokes. Hear that? And those, I'm swinging. And that's a good feel. But this is straight. So it'd be, if I were to do this, if I did it like that, almost hard to, it's just really square. Yeah, eighth notes is mainly what you, if I did it straight, it's subtle. There's a very subtle, like I said, it's really, really hard to do an upstroke and not be a little bit off of that eighth note, that pure eighth note. And that's what we're here with 16th notes. Again, this was straight. But I might just do a, okay, so let me slow that down so you can see what I'm doing. I'm hitting that upstroke right before I go to the second half of each phrase. So the 1, 2, 3, 1. So going into 1 and going into 3, I'm putting an upstroke in there. And it's I'm laying it back a little bit. I'm not doing it straight. If I did it straight, it would be. But if I push it back. And it's just something for you to kind of experiment with. What are those chords? Oh shoot! I'm sorry. It's classic. I don't know what chords I was doing. Let's see. Sorry, getting text. But that's, you know. kind of the ghosting. Do it with fingers too. I'm doing it with my thumb. The thumb is doing the swing. It's kind of the same. It's the same thing. It's the same riff in A, but totally played differently. Sorry. I get bored easily. Okay, so let me swing these 16th notes. I'm going to swing them at swing C, and you can hear how it sounds. The phone's blowing up here at Strahle Enterprises. Okay, so you're gonna either swing if there's any 16th notes in the song. I always say look at the drummer's hi-hat. Listen to the hi-hat. You're not likely to swing the eighths as much as you are the 16ths. If there's no 16ths, then you can swing eighths. It's hard to do both. But hear that? Now that's just so on beat 4. I'm doing the 4 hits, okay? But I'm gonna move that hit. I'm gonna do what I did when I was playing the group. I'm gonna move the hi-hat hits to accent or play a 16th note right before a swung 16th note right before 1 and 3, and that's going to sound like this. Let's see, I can quantize that. Okay. I probably wouldn't do with it with a downstroke. It's too fast, and it'll sound like you're struggling, and you'll probably do it straight. You'll probably just go right into heavy metals. Now, heavy metal players are pretty good at playing straight. That's one of the things you have to be real conscious of if you're going to be doing some like speed metal stuff. You got to use upstrokes. Try to keep them very, very even. So all you death metal players that are watching me right now. 1, 2, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let me put a kick on there. Let me put a kick. Here's a kick. And I'll put a hat or snare on. What's that? Do I like this? I like just straight. And maybe slow it down. We'll go down to 70 now. I'm going to go a little slower so we can do the Sesame Street riff with that feel. Okay, and so these are all just different feels. What was the question? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Classic. I missed. What was the question? Were you talking about when I was playing ETA? Okay, let me go back to this groove. I don't know if that's what you're referencing. I'm trying to keep up on the. Joseph posted the chords to line-ized. I mean, you could do a swung eighth into every, or 16th into every one of the changes. So let me look it up real quick, because Joseph, you've got me wondering. Let me see what comes up when I Google songs that shuffle. Because that's kind of what the pure triplet thing, that's a shuffle, but songs that let's see, shuffle beat songs, fast tempos, some slower tempos, common classic rock shuffles. No, songs with the word shuffle. Hold line Toto. Again, that's what is it? What is? I don't know. But it's, and what that is technically, I would call that, it's definitely shuffle because it's 12/8. 1, 2, 3. Talk about Hold the Line by Toto. LaGrange by ZZ Top. Tush by ZZ. Cold Shot. Well, a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff's going to be shuffled. Pride and Joy, that's shuffled, you know. Let's see, what's this one? Let's see. But if I did that, I don't even know if I could do it straight. What's it? See how it sounds like a little kiddie song, right? Like, oh, kids don't get shuffle. We can't do shuffle. That'll make little kids want to drink beer. So we have to go da 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 da. That was super duper straight. Da, da. So yeah, it's a subtle shuffle. I don't know if it would be a C in our shuffle list. Let's see, Cold Shot, Pride and Joy, Bad to the Bone. What's that? Right? If I did it straight. It's a different song. I mean, flat pick, that shuffle is almost to the 16th note. That one is, yeah, the house is rocking. Is that what I was playing? Is that what house? That shuffle is almost to the 16th note. That's like that F shuffle, you know, the swing, the Bad to the Bone. Move on Over by George Thorogood. Oh, Love and Touch and Squeezin' by Journey. That's definitely, and again, I definitely call that more of a 12/8, which is shuffle. Okay, 12/8 is a way to notate a shuffle, but a lot of times when you got like so many 50s songs did that kind of thing. So let's see. I'm just looking at this. Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. Boys are back. Even the melody is definitely Smoking in the Boys' Room. That's funny. Darking in the boys' room, da 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 da. The melody is even there. Higher Ground, Stevie Wonder. Higher Ground, I don't know about that one. Sorry, again, I'm getting. This is, yeah. All right, so got this work I gotta attend to at some point. All right, so what do we got here? That list. Revolution, Old Brown Revolution. You want a revolution? Turn to Stone by ELO. Easy Living, Your Eye Heap. Ball and Chain, Social Distortion. Yeah, those are all shuffle. Don't Stop, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, don't stop thinking about tomorrow. You can hear it. You can hear it. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here. You can hear it in the melody. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. You can really hear kind of that swing thing happening there. Let's see. Happy Together by the Turtles. Moondance, yeah. It's a swing, yeah. Moondance is a swing. Boom. What's Moondance? That's a good one to put in my lesson. Is it just 2 minor chords? I'm not sure. I forget. I played it. I remember playing that song in a band at some point. Killer Queen, okay. Time Is on My Side by the Stones. Yeah, the Stones probably have a lot of. 6/8 is also technically not a shuffle, but some songs get notated as 6/8. Yeah, the 60s, the 50s groove. So many of those were, and again, if you do the 60s groove, let's do it G. We're getting into kind of, sorry, this is a really bright website. There we go. We're getting into kind of, terminology, but like I would call, some people might call that 6/8. Depends on where you put 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It'd be 6/8, but if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be 12/8. So that's the only difference, really. But generally, you use 6/8 when you want to do more of a kind of a Celtic kind of thing. That's not even a good example. Yeah, doo-wop. Yeah, doo-wop, that's basically doo-wop. But if I get rid of that middle eighth note, or that middle triplet, now it's more of a shuffle and less 12/8 feeling to me, but it's still 12/8. And it's a little bit more of like bluesy or rocky or something like that. When they, in the 50s, the piano was doing the... But then when they got to, like, the guitars started taking over, they would go, and so soon you had guitar rock and pop and stuff like that. So Oh, did I not change the lesson number? Sorry. I think I forgot, Bruce. Thank you. I can do that as I speak. All right, so yeah, so almost all the music swung back then, right? It almost feels like if you go back to the 50s, everything was swinging or was in 12/8 or was in shuffle, some kind of wonderful, again, vocal. The melody, you know, if the band is doing it, the singers have to do it too. Okay, and that's a big part of grooving. Now, Rosanna, somebody posted. Rosanna, it's again, Rosanna is one of those things where it's like the hi hat. I mean, the hi hat is grooving, is swinging, and in fact, the piano is too. I think. So you can also like again with the so the drummer may go in there, and if he goes there, you got to go there. You don't want, if you don't go there, it's gonna sound like when that drum, the kick was on the 8th note and the on the 6th. Yeah, you can't do that. It's got to be grooving too. Oh wait, I got to put it on the 6th. Here we go. Now they're on. Now they're together. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly right, Flatpick. I'd say the 50s songs kind of grew up, the 50s pop songs oftentimes grew up right out of 40s jazz. So the swing thing was still happening. You would be hard pressed. I'm not sure I can think of too many jazz standards in 12/8. That's a fast 3 though. Fast 3/4. Bill Evans. What's that song? Yeah, it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Technically, it's in 3/4. It's just hella fast. What is that song? But yeah, that one doesn't fit into our pattern really. So, oops. Here, go here. And that's a, like I said, that's a swing C. I'm doing a swing C on this. Let me highlight all this and go a swing B. So a little more subtle. Oh, no, I got to do swing B on the 16th. There we go. That's a good feel. I like that. And again, that's just a little past 16th note. This is, again, I'm doing 16th note swings now. So we're kind of moving things over. Now, really, you could think of, if this is at 70, the BPM on this is pretty slow. And so you could also think, oh, it's 140, halftime feel in 140. And so it's really, those are 8th notes and not 16th notes. But you can swing a 16th note, you can swing an 8th note, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so... All right, now let's see. What were some of the songs that came up? Pretzel Logic, Higher Ground. Somebody said that. Let's see. School's out for summer. Yeah, that one swung. Evil Woman. I don't know. Tainted Love. Yeah, Soft Cell. Freeway Jam. Yeah, that's swung too. Yeah, there's a lot of swung stuff. Can't Get Enough. Heartache Tonight by the Eagles. Of course, I get in trouble. Let me just see what we get here. G to E minor, G, C, G to D. It's good. It's gonna be a hard time. Yeah, you can totally hear that. Yeah, that's definitely swung. That's a good one, though. That's a good swung tune. I can't stop the thing as we start. Let's see. Dr. My Eyes is swung. Yeah, swinging was pretty common in the 70s. Yeah, Deep Purple, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, of course, is swung. Why? Because they're going for that 50s vibe, right? The Crazy Little Thing Called Love is kind of doing that. Oh, Jimmy Jazz by The Clash. I know that song. I can't remember it, but I know that song. School's out for summer. Let's see. Don't Stop. What are the changes? Let's see. Yeah, it's even saying in the thing, it's so it's basically an E chord. I'm doing all the bands that tend to flag songs. Eagles and Fleetwood Mac. Don't stop. It's a Christine McVie song, so it's going to be a little high for me. What does it go to? Yesterday's gone. Oh, really? because the beat goes. Yesterday's gone by. Yeah, so swinging was pretty darn common in the 70s. And then when we got into the 80s, we had a lot more computers and programming stuff. But Tainted Love, which is played and it's not a quantizer, or it's not quantized. Quantizing is when you play something, like you play something in MIDI here. Like I can play, let's see. No, I can't hear with the click. That's throwing me off. Let me go over one more. Okay, so I wasn't perfect there. I was trying to be perfect. Don't get me wrong. But if I look at it, it's not perfectly on. Okay. A little rushed, a little late. Okay, but if I highlight all and I go to 8th note and click on that, it'll move everything. So now it's perfect. Which is great. It's nice. It's nice that it's on the grid and you can copy and paste it all you want. The problem is it's less human sounding. And so, I've got a swing on here. I got a swing number. I can do 50. Not 100. Hilarious. I can do a swing, yeah. So 75 would be basically a 16th note, yeah. And there's 67. Here's 66. But yeah, back to 50. So it was in a different window. So the thing is that happened in the 80s was you had things like quantizing you could do with samples, because you could do, once you had MIDI, and you could do MIDI. Before there was digital audio workstations, there was something called, for example, digital Performer. Performer allowed you to program MIDI and control keyboards from a computer. So you could program everything into Performer, and then it would play it. So you could, anything that, like you couldn't possibly, play humanly could be done. Or if you just or if you weren't a very good player and you wanted something played, you could do it that way. And so there were a lot of things that were done that way in the 80s in particular, because the technology showed up that kind of created more of this to the grid kind of straight 8th note thing. So looking at this list of songs, so many of them are the 60s, a lot in the 70s, a lot of swing. Again, we're talking about swing, but that's still not groove. Swing is a type of groove. But like, for example, on this, we talked about that, 50, 51, 52, 56. Okay, so that's 59, 61, 64, 75. That's just pure 16th note. A dotted 16th. So, but grooving can be all of that, all of what we talked about, plus the more subtleness of like lion eyes. What lesson graphic? Oh, Ticket to Ride? Yeah. That's an interesting one, Joseph, because Ticket to Ride is kind of, I feel like that's, first half of that bar is straight eights, and the second half of that bar is triplets, which is freaking brilliant. But yeah, it's one, two. So it's like bum ba da 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 da, kind of a 3/2 kind of thing. So, okay, so I've got to take off. I've got work that's piling up, and we will make it happen. Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah. Playing any any synth or any keyboard humanly is going to sound more human than the analog thing versus digital. It still depends on how you played it, and if you programmed it, you could. The analog stuff, yeah, that wasn't MIDI-able, not originally. Now it is. But originally, yeah. So the analog synths like the Moogs and things like that in the 70s, those weren't MIDI-able. So it was MIDI that came along. And what does MIDI stand for? I forget. Crocodile Rock. Yeah, Crocodile Rock is definitely, and that one's 12/8. I mean, again, that was a 70s song that was a throwback to the 50s, because in the 70s, most of us were there. There was 50s days in junior high and high school where we would dress up like the 50s. I remember those vividly. And we would take cigarette packs and put them in our sleeves and roll them up like they did in the 50s. And so that was just kind of one of those funny things. It was like, it was a throwback. So yeah, definitely that song would do that. Fool in the Rain is definitely swung, yeah. Ticket to Ride is a weird one. Mellow Yellow. See, listen to the lyric. Mellow Yellow. Dun, 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 dun. The melody tells you right away that it's got a swing to it. And so that's a big part of, that swing. But just keep in mind that the swing can be, on all of these songs that we're naming, the swings are pretty obvious and extreme. I mean, on that graph of, 50 to 67, it's going to be closer to 67, if not right on 65, 66, 67, right on a pure triplet. Or, like I said, over here, the swing, it's going to be like the swing C down there. It's going to be more obvious like that. But even when you're trying not to swing, there's going to be that's kind of a human thing. I'm trying to play really straight, fairly easy when you're playing like this straight. It's the right hand that's where it makes it really difficult when you're doing that upstroke to keep it consistent with the downstroke. So to have a da 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 with your down up kind of thing. On that. I guess I can put that. Yeah, I can put that graphic up there. Yeah. It doesn't really. That's just a pull down menu from Logic. But yeah, I can throw that over there. Boop 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 boop. Hold on a second. I gotta open up. Where are you, Discord tab? There you are. Might make some bleeps and sounds here. What is it? Tom's Lesson PDFs. There we go. I haven't put anything in there in a long time. Okay. Now, it is up there, Bruce. Sorry, I didn't know what you were referring to. All right. Okay. So I'm going to, yeah. So you can go back on this video, whatever. If you have a Mac, you have GarageBand, which is very much like Logic, and so you can do you can drop some drums in there, you can swing them, things like that. You can just experiment. That's the beauty of like that is you break anything. You're just trying to find a groove and trying to make it swing. But you can practice those swings. But it's more of a thing. Just it's going to be part of and you might have you play the Lion Eyes. It might sound different than how I play it and how they play it. It's everybody. That's where the feel and the groove is where it separates musicians into I can tell that's Stevie Ray Vaughan, or I can tell that's Buddy Guy, or I can tell that's Eric Clapton. And a lot of times it's because of that feel, the groove, how big a swing do they do, the ways that Stevie Ray Vaughan plays would Eric Clapton would never even go there. So anyway, this is all pretty esoteric stuff. I apologize. I wish there was. I mean, we did some Sesame Street examples, and you can work on that. Just be aware of that. It's good to have that kind of groove in there. So, yep, yeah. I wasn't even trying. I taught Lion Eyes like 100 times back in the 70s to students, but I haven't played it since then. So, okay. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. I will hopefully see you next Monday. The plan is to work together next Monday. We'll see. Okay. Hey, David. Bye-bye.